So let's put here. Okay, let's start talking about interaction effect analysis by stratification method. As I said in previous section, we've got two methods by which we can evaluate the interaction effect analysis between main exposure and the second variable. Let's go back to our example. This is basically a logistic regression model in which we want to see the impact of smoking on the lung cancer. The lung cancer is a categorical variable, and this is basically why we use the logistic regression model instead of linear or other models. And as you know, in this model, we can report odds ratio instead of coefficient themselves. And here we adjusted for gender, socioeconomic, etc. And this is the error that will be remained after running the model. By the way, sometimes an assumption you might have when doing the regression model, an assumption is the impact of smoking is different between men and women. And this is basically the interaction effect. But how to see that? How to see whether the impact of smoking on lung cancer is different between men and women? A simple way is to split the data sets, one for men and the second one for women, and run the same regression model. So this is the key point in the stratification method. You run the same regression model here. This is the regression. You run this model one for men and the second time for women, and eventually you'll see the association between smoking and lung cancer in each category. As you can see, the odds ratio in men is 3.5 and in women is 1.1. So as you can see here, the impact of smoking on lung cancer in men is obviously higher than women. But this is not enough to say there is interaction effect between gender and smoking. I have to say it again. This is not enough to say that there is interaction effect between smoking and lung cancer and gender. So all you have done is just splitting the data set and seeing the odds ratio, one for men and second one for women. And of course there is a difference between the odds ratio, but you can't see the statistical difference between these odds ratio. So you can't statistically say that the impact of smoking on lung cancer in men is different with women. So we need to see the statistical difference of the two odds ratio. So honestly, to see if there is an interaction effect, we have to estimate the confidence interval. So to see if there is any interaction effect between gender and smoking, we have to estimate the confidence interval of the difference between the coefficients. So this is the formula that we can use it. In this formula, we use the coefficients. So this is the key point. In this formula, which is used to estimate the confidence interval of the difference in the effect, is to use the coefficients, not the odds ratio. So we should be careful. In this formula, we use the coefficient in category 1 and in the category 2, plus minus 1.96 multiplied by a square of the standard error in category 1 and standard error in category 2. So SE stands for standard error. This is standard error, the standard error of the coefficient of smoking in men, and this is the standard error of coefficient of smoking in women. And we can simply estimate the confidence interval of the difference. So I have to say the key point again. The key point is to use the coefficients in the regression model. Here, as you can see, there is the difference of the coefficient in category 1 and the category 2. So you can simply estimate the confidence interval of the difference of the coefficients between the two categories. So eventually, after estimation of the confidence interval, you can judge whether there is an interaction effect or not. How to do that? If the confidence interval didn't include zero, that means that there is a statistically difference between the coefficients. So I have to say it again. If the confidence interval didn't include zero, that means that the the difference between the coefficients are statistically significant. And this is and that's when we say that there is interaction effect between the gender and smoking. Otherwise, you are not able to say that. So if the confidence interval includes zero, that means that there is no significant difference between the two coefficients. There is no significant difference between coefficients 1, beta 1, and beta 2. So you can't say that there is interaction effect. This is the key point, and actually uh, sometimes you all you do is just split the data sets, as I said, and this is not enough. And you have to step a little bit forward. You have to do one more step, which is the estimation of the confidence interval. So this is the key points in the stratification method, and it can be easily done by any software, and you can even use that manually by Excel. And this is can be done in any concept. So let's in the next session I will discuss the regression method, and eventually we compare the two methods. So yeah, this is it, and thank you. See you in the next video.